Did you know that 150,000 English words are of Greek origin? Do you know the meaning of idiosyncrasy? Have you been pronouncing epitome incorrectly? Do you want to know the story behind Achilles Heel? All this and more coming up. But first, do subscribe to the English Nut. Thanks. There are thousands of words with Greek roots in the English language, 150,000 according to one estimate. Most of these words entered English not directly but passed through Latin and then French before becoming a part of our vocabulary. Most words that start with PH are of Greek origin. For example, photo, physical, and phrase. But in this video, we are going to talk about two words that don't begin with PH, as well as a phrase derived from the fascinating world of Greek mythology. An idiosyncrasy is a characteristic, habit, or mannerism that is peculiar to an individual. The word quirk may be considered a synonym of idiosyncrasy. Idiosyncrasy is also used to signify peculiarity or eccentricity. You could say, my classmate has this idiosyncrasy of having dessert at the beginning of a meal. Even machines can have idiosyncrasies. For example, the printer in our office has this idiosyncrasy of leaving every third page blank. From the noun idiosyncrasy, you can form the adjective idiosyncratic. You can describe the office printer's trait or your classmate's behavior as idiosyncratic. Idiosyncrasy came into English around the year 1600 from the French word idiosyncrasy. The French word was derived from the Greek word idiosyncrasia, which meant a peculiar temperament. Idios sounds like idiot, but it means one's own in Greek. Syn means with, and krasis refers to the temperament, though it literally means mixture, in the sense of a mixture of personal characteristics. Originally, in English, idiosyncrasy was a medical term meaning the physical constitution of an individual. Idiosyncrasy is commonly misspelled with a CY instead of an SY at the end. This is because more commonly used words like aristocracy and bureaucracy are spelled with a CY at the end. Each of us human beings has some idiosyncrasy or the other. As singer-songwriter Martin J. Sandom says, I'll have you if you'll have me and all of my idiosyncrasies. An Achilles heel means the one weak point that can lead to downfall despite overall strength. In Greek mythology, Achilles was the hero of the Trojan War and the greatest of all Greek warriors. He is the central character of Homer's epic Iliad. It was foretold that Achilles would die at a young age. In an attempt to prevent this, his mother, the sea nymph Thetis, dipped the infant Achilles in the river Styx, which was said to have the power to bestow invulnerability. Thetis held Achilles by the heel when she dipped him in the river, so the water did not touch this part of the baby's body. Thus, while the rest of him became invulnerable, the heel remained his one weak point. Thetis, being a goddess, is immortal, but because she rejected the advances of Zeus, the king of the gods, he decreed in his anger that she must marry a mortal. Thus, she ends up reluctantly marrying King Peleus, a mortal, which is why the son she has, Achilles, is also mortal. Imagine the sadness of a mother who knows she'll outlive her son. Dipping him in the river Styx is her attempt to make him immortal. Eventually, Achilles was killed by an arrow that pierced his heel during the Trojan War. This arrow was shot by Prince Paris of Troy, who had seduced Helen, the wife of King Menelaus of Sparta, and stolen her away from him. Menelaus led the Trojan War, the war against the city of Troy, to get Helen back. Helen was considered the most beautiful woman in the world. She was described as the woman with the face that launched 1,000 ships, referring to the battleships that were sent to defeat Troy during the war. But I digress. The whole point of narrating this story is to convey that poor Achilles lost his life in this war thanks to the one physical weakness he possessed. Today we use Achilles heel idiomatically to talk about vulnerabilities that are not necessarily physical. Here's how you can use Achilles heel in a sentence. The team's fielding is its Achilles heel. The advertising agency's Achilles heel was its lack of understanding of the digital medium. She knew that her competitor's strategy had to have an Achilles heel, and she was determined to find it. Achilles has an apostrophe in Achilles heel because it's a possessive noun meaning of or belonging to Achilles. I have mentioned elsewhere that even for a singular noun ending in S, we should add apostrophe S at the end to form the possessive. The name Achilles is a rare exception. We do not write Achilleses. But if you find this confusing, it's perfectly acceptable to drop the apostrophe altogether and write Achilles heel like this. A lot of people pronounce this word incorrectly. It's epitome, not epitome. Epitome means a perfect example, an example that represents or expresses something very well. She was the epitome of graceful aging. This hotel is the epitome of Indian hospitality. He looked the epitome of military discipline in his immaculate uniform. Epitome came into English via the French epitome, but the roots of the word are in Greek. It first appeared in print in English in 1520. At that time, it was used to mean a summary or synopsis. If you have to summarize a long paper, you cut it up to keep only the main points. This process is reflected in the etymology of the word. It's derived from the Greek word epitemnein, which means to cut short. And epitemnein was formed with the prefix epi and the verb temnein, which means to cut. The original meaning of epitome, summary, is still valid today. I could not go through all 12 volumes of his philosophy, so I read an epitome of his works written by one of his students. I'm the English Nut. Bye for now.